Hi, Sharda. My name is Joan Simpkins. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, thank you. How are
Thank
you?
you. Good. Thank you for coming to the interview. I have a couple of questions. First, can you tell me about yourself?
I am a mom of three boys. That keeps us busy. They're 8, 12, and 13. So we're on the go all the time. We also have a fur baby.
Mhm.
I've been married almost 15 years, and I've been a nurse for almost 19 years now.
Okay, good. My next question is to you. If a student came to you and stated that I'm having difficulty understanding your lectures, how would you respond to that question?
I would want to have a conversation with the student, talk to them about what is difficult about the lesson. Is it something that
Mhm.
I could do better in explaining or presenting the lecture, and then also if there are things that are going on in their lives, any kind of extenuating circumstances, stress with the nursing overall can be extremely stressful. So I think just finding out what's going on and how we can work together to make it a better experience for both of us, where I want the student to succeed and they want to succeed, and I want to be effective with my teaching as well. So I'm hoping that we could be that's how I would approach it, by trying to have a conversation and figure out a way that we can make it work, and where I can be able to teach in a way that I can address the learning needs or style of that particular student.
Very good. Now, my colleague's going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Hi, Sharda. My name is
Hi.
Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy. Nice to meet you.
You too. Uh, as we all get busier and busier, the prioritization becomes more important in our lives and also in our careers and our positions. In this position you're going to take, there's a lot going on, and I'd like to know what's your process for how you prioritize.
Um, Obviously, it goes with depending on what's going on, what the situation is. In a clinical setting, again, it's the ABCs, making sure that your patient's breathing. In a learning environment, I think it would be more along the lines of figuring out trying to stay ahead of the game, figuring out what I need to be presenting or teaching, gathering my material, and then being able to synthesize that for a classroom environment that's going to kind of appeal to all of the students. But that would be, I guess, one way that I would kind of prioritize what needs to get done, to be able to be prepared for it.
Very good. Oh.
Oh, sure. Your field right now is more clinical, and
Mhm.
as you move towards a more education type career as an educator, can you explain how you would stay current with the latest teaching styles and education, and just in your field, how you would stay up to date with the latest education and studies and just everything you would need?
So I am I'm CPAN certified, and just like you said, a lot of my experience is clinical. Um, that being said, I would I think I would have to kind of rely on my colleagues, and to kind of I guess help me grow,
Mhm.
and as an educator. And then the practices change, curriculums change, just being more abreast on what's happening in that area.
Mhm.
The other thing again is that I feel that in being a nursing educator, we have to be able to have that clinical experience, but have it be current also, because we need to be in touch with what's going on and what our expectations are of the students. So, to answer your question, staying current by being at the bedside also, but then also, keeping abreast of what new practices are with teaching, whether it's using different technology, and how that fits into the classroom, and being able to use those technology to facilitate learning.
Very good. Well,
Yes.
thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to interview me.
So to back up a little bit, instead of 2, we have 3 this evening. So we decided to do a panel style interview process. So we're going to do, 2 to 4 questions each and rotate through. So the next up will be myself, Jeremy, and then Joan will be the last person we interview this evening, and maybe have a tiny bit of discussion afterwards. See how, it went.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay, so Joan, you and I will be interviewing Jeremy.
Okay.
Next. Okay. So do you want to go first or should I?
No, I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. Well, good afternoon, Jeremy.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And so Joan and I will be asking you a couple of questions for your job application. I guess, can you tell us something about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. I am married with 2 girls, and my oldest just went off to college.
Oh, wow.
And I also have a fur baby, dog. Been living in the same house for 20 years, and I've been a nurse for about 22 years. Got my bachelor's degree in 2005 from SUNY Plattsburgh. Back up a little bit, my associates from SUNY Canton in 1999. Now I'm finishing up my degree with Excelsior for my master's in science and education. So, yeah, I've always loved teaching, and I love precepting new students, and my passion. While it wasn't obvious in the beginning for me, as my career went on, I realized that was my passion, is teaching. I really enjoy passing on knowledge, because I really admire some of my former professors, and they're role models for me as well. So that was my direction, and I feel like that's why I'm here.
Okay. So I guess, how would you identify health system needs, or whether standards are being met?
Yeah, sure. So as my current position, I'm a health system specialist 3 with New York State Department of Health. And the biggest thing we do is uphold standards in the industry for whatever entity we're looking at. So whether it's a nursing home, a hospital, or a home care entity like a hospice or a CHA or a LICSA, there's certain standards that they have to go by. And the standards are state regulations and federal regulations, and also some other things within the state that we set as well, with other types of directives and guidance. And we hold them to a standard. So when these entities are surveyed, so they're on a rotating, unannounced schedule of being surveyed, we go in and hold them to those standards. So in a process of going through information and charts. So when we do that, we see whether or not they're meeting the standards of safety for those patients by those measures. Now, how I would measure that is if I saw a pattern, or we saw a pattern where everybody was doing the same thing wrong. And maybe it's a problem with how we are communicating those regulations. And then I would step in and say, we need to change the tool we're using, or we need to send out an information or a teaching to all hospices, because everybody, every time they get surveyed, is doing the same thing incorrectly. So that would be a way I would identify that there's an issue with that healthcare system and then correct it.
Okay. Good. I guess one last question before I pass it on to Joan is, what do you enjoy most about your job?
I would say talking to patients and talking to staff of the agencies, because the communication is key. From the patient standpoint, if they're complaining to us about an agency, I get a feeling for what maybe needs to be corrected with the agency or what's going on. And then that gives me a connection there, which I miss from the bedside. And then the other thing is, when I talk to the nurses or the aides or whomever at the agencies, it also gives me a feel for what may need to be corrected in their view. So it's another way of helping the healthcare system, but in a more direct way by human communication and going from that way rather than just relying on what I mentioned before, which is like the survey process. So it's more than that, you know?
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll have Joan chime in now.
Okay, Jeremy, hi. I'm just
Hi.
going to ask you a few questions. The first question is, what are your strengths?
I would say my strengths are it's always come easy to me being personable, being able to strike up a conversation. It's never been awkward for me. It's always felt comfortable, and I think that people pick up on that and open up to me and can talk to me. And I feel like I thought everybody had that, but as life has gone on, I realized that very few people have that, I think, and I never realized how much of an asset that was. So for me, I think it is my communication skills and people being able to talk to me, and I try to make it as comfortable and easy as possible.
Now, my next question is, how do you handle conflict on the job?
So it depends on how big the conflict is, I'd say, but coming from my clinical background, there was a lot of conflict in the ICU, whether it was from the patient standpoint or families arguing or people fighting in the hallway or something like that. Anything you come across, right? So I think the biggest thing for me that I realized is keep your cool.
Very good.
Don't
Very good.
Don't rise to the level of the stress in the room.
Right.
Keep your cool and bring everybody back down.
Exactly.
So for me, I'd say that's how I handle conflict is never let when you start to feel the level of stress rise in you, I push it back down and I stay like this. And I keep my cool. And that's what you have to do. And cooler heads will prevail.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you have a better patient outcome if you do stay cool.
Absolutely. No panicking and just
get
it done.
Yep.
And my last question to you is, why should we hire you?
Well, I think I bring a lot to the table. I will certainly work hard and learn. I know I have a lot to learn, but I also feel like I bring a lot to the table. I always am a reflective person, and I feel like every time I have a bad day or anything on the way home, maybe I won't even turn the radio on, right? Or I won't even call my wife on the way home. I'll just have a quiet ride home and reflect on the day. And I think, okay, what could I have done better? What could I improve upon? What did I do well? And
Very good.
I feel like my reflection, and I would bring that to the table here too, is that kind of mentality.
Your reflection is a learning process. You
Yeah,
can learn from your mistakes. You can learn how to do better. Very good. Well, I want to thank you for coming in, and
Yeah, thank you.
you should hear from us within 2 weeks or so. But if you
All right.
have any other questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out and call us. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Now, one more interview we have on tonight's panel, which is Joan. And you want to go ahead and start, Sharda, while I prepare my question? Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Joan, thank you for joining us. Jeremy and I will be conducting your interview. So I guess I'll start off by asking you to tell us something about yourself.
I've been practicing now for, I want to say 32 years. I started out in the nursing home. Well, I'll go back. I started out as a CNA and I climbed the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
I was an LPN, then associate's degree as an RN, then my bachelor's, and now I'm one course shy from graduation. I love the bedside nursing. I feel that I have a lot of knowledge to give something back to the community, and that is teaching nurses to be very good nurses. We need good nurses today. I'm very thorough, caring. I have good interpersonal skills. I enjoy what I do very much. I feel I get paid for work and I enjoy it. I have the best of both worlds.
Well, it's important to enjoy what you do because we spend so much time at work, and that when you enjoy what you do, it reflects in the quality of work that you put out.
True.
So that's very good. So I guess my other question would be is why do you want to work for Greatland University?
Because it's a new era because of COVID. I can learn to be creative when it comes to teaching online. And there's so many learning materials that we didn't have in the past that can make nurses more efficient, safety, and especially reflection, keeping a journal, and developing critical thinking skills, as well as a hands-on experience in Sims. We have Sims today. They can be low fidelity or high fidelity. It's a new era for nurses today in teaching the nursing curriculum. It's not like where they get up and just lecture. We bring a lot of media to the classroom today, whether it's online or in the classroom. And I prefer the flipped classroom method. The students are prepared. I am not lecturing. If they have questionings, then I can follow up. And we can, we have group discussions and then we can move on.
Yep.
I have more time to spend with the students.
Good. Now, I guess just one other question is, I guess how would you handle a student that isn't doing well in the class?
Well, in the past, I had some students that weren't doing well clinically. So I would have them like one room down from me, and I would just work with them in a non-threatening way, that not making them feel uncomfortable. I spent a lot of time with that student until they mastered that skill.
I guess what would you do in the classroom? I guess in if you were in the classroom and a student, granted it's virtual, but if a student wasn't doing well, it's easier when we're face to face with each other, and it's easy to convey, whether it's body language or facial expressions, that we can convey understanding and compassion. But when there's kind of the screen or to us, how would you reach out to a student?
I would provide a one-on-one Zoom meeting and ask the student, what's going on? Is everything okay? How can I help you? In the past, I provided resources that if they didn't understand the book, then here are some resources that will narrow it down, make it more compact. This is what you need to know. I feel you have to talk to your students. I just don't want that student to just to be pushed to the side. I want them to succeed. Just communicating, finding out what's going on. And if the student didn't want to say, then okay, so here's some resources will help you. Or if you don't understand something, please come and ask me.
Good. Thank you. I'm going to pass it on to Jeremy now.
Okay.
Hi, Joan. My name's Jeremy,
Hi.
and I'll be interviewing as well. We're doing a panel tonight. I was wondering, how would your coworkers describe you?
Down to earth, respectful, well knowledge, patient, kind, and firm.
Okay.
In a nice way, in a respectful way. I was told by a professor that I demand the classroom, but it's in a nice way, not no bullying or incivility going on there.
Okay. Well, along those lines, can you describe someone that was difficult that you worked with, like a colleague, and how maybe you handled that situation?
Years ago, as a charge nurse, the dementia unit where I had to change the assignment, and because I was maybe 2 years out of school where I changed the assignment without consulting the staff, and I just put up the new assignment, and they took it down. So I put it up again. They took it down. And then I was talking to a colleague of mine, and I was a chemist who had nothing to do with nursing. And I would say, this is what's going on with work. They take it down and blah, blah, blah.
Hi.
That's okay.
And so he had stated to me, he said, Joan, you are not doing the work. Why don't you meet with them? Let them come up with a plan and let them evenly divide the work. And if they don't do that, then you can say, well, I asked for your input. Now I made the assignment. And that to me was a valuable lesson. And I practice the same way today. I ask the students first, what do you think is best?
Okay.
Because they're doing the work. It's not me. It's them. It's all about them.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask how you would to describe some problem-solving skills, but I think you just did that.
Yes. Communication is the key. It is.
So let me. I guess one last question I'm curious is, you seem like a leader, and you have leadership skills and qualities. Can you describe what you feel someone in leadership should have? Like, what are the skills? What does that look like to you?
For me, first, they have to be objective. There should be no incivility, playing favorites. There's no favorites. Everyone is treated equal. As a student once said to me, oh, you have favorites. I said, no, I don't. I treat everyone the same. If you come to me with a problem, if I can help you work it out, then I'm going to do the same. If I do it for you, I'm going to do it the same for everyone else. Respectful. And honest. Just a kind person.
Okay.
Just very kind. You can be firm, but you can do it in a kind way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, unless Sharda, you have any further questions for
No,
Joan?
I think Joan, I asked questions that I wanted to. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll be in touch. You'll hear from us either way.
okay.
But you got the job, don't worry. No.
Okay.
All hired.
All right. Well, thank you very much. That concludes our interviews, and it was nice chatting with you, ladies.
It was very nice. Yes, yes. It's always nice to have faces.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
this I really did feel like this was a good.
It
it's
was.
nice-
It really was a good
practice.
exercise, and it's nice to get to know you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
At the
definitely.
end, we should just sit and have a glass. Everybody should get together with the professor and
I-
just do a toast.
I like that.
That's right. That's right.
I like that. Yes.
I'll do it.
Yes.
I'll do it.
Me
I'll
too.
do it.
If it's nothing but
We'll have to communicate with the
Yeah.
other staff. Exactly. And yes. Oh, well, I don't know what I did with mine, but.
All right.
but thank
All right,
you
I'm going to
very
stop the
much.
recording. I guess I'll stop the
Okay.
recording now.
Oh. Now,
all
can
right,
you
thanks.
edit this? Ooh.
I'm not sure. All right, we stop it.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Uh,
I don't know. But you know what? That's the thing. It's a nice little bit. And